was one of those really interesting political times.
Read my lips.
In '87, there's the stock market crash. And then in 1990, there's Operation Desert Storm. There's this mood of real anxiety, especially for young people. In places like Seattle, this was really sort of characteristic of the mood of the music scene.
Everybody was working really crappy day jobs and driving crappy cars and renting, group houses. Really no future in sight.
They had to play music. It wasn't to get a record deal. It wasn't to go on tour. It was what they did, what they were driven to do.
The first time I met Nirvana, I don't think they had taken a bath for 3 days. And they were pretty fried out and kind of crusty. But at the time, we had no expectations. We were just making a punk rock record and having the time of our lives.
So when Nevermind comes out September 24th, 1991, it's sort of a dividing line between the old era and the new.
Nevermind was such an amazing record and such a scene-defining record.
It was incredibly exciting the day that Nevermind knocked Michael Jackson out for #1.
It was seen as extremely symbolic because, Michael Jackson was the king of pop. He was the old guard. And here comes Nirvana.
I was on the tour bus with Soundgarden when we got the news, and I think the walls shook on the bus. That was a moment in history.
I would turn and get the audience and the band in the pictures, because the audiences were kind of notorious for going crazy.
It was sort of like Beatlemania. It was like hysteria, and I'd never really seen anything like that before.
Do you like Fatherhood?
Vodka? Yes, I love vodka.
Cobain slipped into a coma last night after taking a large dose of painkillers with champagne.
Drug addiction undermined the ability to go forward, and I see that as the greatest undoing.
Cobain's body was found in a house in Seattle on Friday morning. He was dead of an apparently self-inflicted shotgun blast to the head.
Everyone who was alive then pretty much remembers that day.
Would you like to hear my voice?
I can never hear Kurt's voice without thinking about his suicide and what a tragedy it was.
I think a lot of kids is influenced by Kurt Cobain, just from the message in his music. It's a lot of kids that got an infatuation with death. Damn, this dude is brave. Like, he's not afraid to die. So it's like, going all out. And these on-edge artists like this, and just like their beliefs and the grunge and the style and just the vibe, I think kids they want to live that way. They want to see what he felt like.
We don't need the Lover from the 60s. We don't need punk from the 70s or this androgynous player from the 80s. No, we need something simple, something destructive, something grounding.